What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man. Yes, I'm back at it again. This is DanMachi, Season 2, Episode 11. And I was going to make a discussion review, but I guess I'll just make it a discussion and kind of review it towards the latter half of this episode, because that's when they really picked up more. Let's get it, man. Actually, it picked up right after last week's episode of all of the conclusion of the big fight and everything that happened with Ishtar's familia and Freya's family coming to save Belle and all of this other stuff that was going on. This episode was slowed down dramatically, and it was more light and fun. It was basically more of a comedic part, kind of serious type episode, because we saw, I'm glad that Aisha and a couple of the other guys from the Ishtar family are all right. They didn't really, kind of have any problems or go through anything like that. I mean, because I actually enjoyed Aisha as a character, so to see her still be around and hopefully kind of probably make some appearances later on in a couple episodes, I'm okay with that. But yeah, we had her and a couple of the other girls kind of giving like a send-off type thing to Belle and everyone, and preferably just Haruhime. And it was mainly just Aisha, because she just wanted to, because she cared for Haruhime. That's exactly what it was. They kind of built a type of friendship, and she played it off as, I was just doing what I wanted to do when Haruhime tried to thank her. But, we all know that she cared for Haruhime. And then she was like telling Belle that, well, you better take care of her and stuff. And she was finna tell Haruhime, well, before that, she told Haruhime, well, they were on their way to go outside the gates to help, and we come to find out that it's Ares and his army of flunkies trying to take over Ario, yeah. And they're not getting anywhere because the adventurers are just mollywopping them because they're way stronger than these guys. But she was like, her and some of the other girls from the Ishtar familia are going to go be prostitutes because that's what they were. And Haruhime was looking kind of sad. And Aisha was getting ready to tell her that, well, you're not a prostitute. But she was cut off by the other girls, like, Aisha, son, let's go. And so all of that was nice. And then she, and as I suspected, she got around to saying that, does Haruhime not know that she's not a prostitute? Because every time she saw a naked man, she passed out. She never slept with anybody. She's not a prostitute. But they don't know that. So then it was just played up for laughs about that. And then we jumped to Haruhime doing laundry, and Belle coming to greet her and picking up her underwear. And they're having a whole moment, because we now know that Haruhime kind of feels some type of way about Belle. And let's be real. If Belle does just take one particular person that he loves, I will be upset. I'm kind of leaning towards the harem type thing with Belle. I mean, because he has a bunch of people that really kind of want him, which is Freya, Hestia, Lily, who else? Lily. I don't think Mikoto really likes him like that, but she's fond of him. And then we have Haruhime now, and we have the chick from the pub. And I don't know if Rusan kind of likes him or not, a little bit, maybe. But there's a lot of chicks that kind of like Belle, so I'm leaning towards maybe possibly a harem instead of just one particular lover. And so yeah, then they're playing that up, and then Hestia comes and like, well, members of this house are no longer permitted to hold hands or flirt or anything like that. And then it's still played up for laughs or touch tails. And then they just go through all of that, and then we get inside the house and we see her and Lily arguing about what's going on and how they're going to play it out. And she was like, well, if that's the case, then you can't have him either. And it was nice. I loved that. I loved their whole camaraderie with the whole team itself. And what else happened? Then Mikoto brings up a valid point to, well, do goddesses fall in love with us mortals? And all? It was a nice thing going on. And then Hestia kind of pretty much laid out her feelings bare for Belle. And he didn't shun her, but he was like, he respects her too much for that to happen, for him to ever have a relationship with her, because he's going to die, because he's human. But I feel like Belle is 100% half god, because then we pan off and we get to the whole thing with him and Hermes, and him and Hermes talking about Zeus and Hera being defeated by two of the three big super bad beings in this world. They defeated 2 of them, but they died in the process. And but we all, it's so much more, man, because if I keep going on like that, I'm gonna end up doing a whole theory, and I don't want to do that. But I'll leave it at that. So then we find out that there's one huge monster left, and that's the black dragon, or the one-eyed black dragon. And Hermes is actually trying to turn Bel into a hero, because as I said, I believe Bel is, we know that Bel's grandfather was Zeus. We know that for a fact. But I feel like Bel is part god. That's what I think. And I think that's why Hermes is trying to turn him into a hero, so he can defeat the one-eyed black dragon. That's just a whole other thing. But then we get all the comedic stuff out of the way, and we find out that Hestia laid out her feelings for Bel, and he didn't reciprocate them, but he didn't shun her either. He just, like, he respected her too much, and him being human, which he doesn't know about the other part, and that he's going to die eventually. And that's what he discussed with Hephaestus and the other god, and they were trying to tell him that even if you don't love her, you can still respect her enough to let her know. It's just like, still kind of have these emotions and feelings going, but you don't have to reciprocate them. You could just tell her that, and tell her that's how you feel, so she'll understand where you're coming from, instead of just shutting her down. So then we have Ares hatching this whole plan of stealing a god, and next thing you know, did we see Hestia talking to the potato lady, and she's going outside of Orario, and she's not supposed to, because all the gods are supposed to stay within, and Ganesha lets her out. She gets out, and Ares steals her. So then we have this whole moment where it got super interesting, because all of the comedy and everything was out of the way. The action came. We found out that Ares stole her, and then all of a sudden everyone figured it out and found out. And then Aisha told Bel, and they were all making their way. And Loki was like the one that was heading it up, which is, I love, because we know the Loki familiar is another one of the strongest familiars in audio. And she sent Ainz after Hestia, and Hermes sent his strongest familiar member after her as well, because she can fly, because he blessed her. And then we have Bel. So it's a nice little trio going after Hestia. They get there, they find her, and Ainz is pretty much finna demolish all of these other people. She even broke Ares' sword. And then we have Bel sneaking around trying to get Hestia. And Ares' second in command seems pretty capable and pretty strong, because he stopped Hermes' familiar and held her in place and everything. So he seems pretty capable and strong. And then we have where Hestia trips and falls down into like a ravine, and Ainz jumps down there, and Bel jumps down there to catch Hestia. So now episode 12 seems like it's going to get super duper interesting, because now it's picking up drastically, man. That's pretty much all that happened this episode. I pretty much ended up reviewing more than I wanted to, but this is it, man. I enjoyed the episode. It's always nice getting introduced to newer characters. But this is your boy Dick Incredible, man. Don't forget to smash the like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. And remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life, man. Peace out.